Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon and good evening, depending on where you are. My name is Carly, and thank you for being on my page, Consciousness with Carly. We are going to have Cambo on today, the mind of matter. We're going to talk about alchemy. We're going to talk about manifestation. We're going to talk about why you need both in order to do one or the other. So let's get him on here. Hey, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you had a good night. I guess good morning isn't relevant because some of you it's evening. Okay. Add you. All right.
Oh,
Hello.
hello. Oh, hey. Let me just switch this around.
You are on.
Good, good, good. How are you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm brilliant. You?
Great. Where's your
Oh,
face?
hold on. I'm here. I was trying to plug my charger in because my battery's low. I don't want it to die whilst we're on it.
All right.
How
Well,
you doing? Oh, how are we doing? How am I doing there?
this is great.
Ah. Oh, that's lovely. I've got flowers on my face. I'll
I
turn
think they
that
were
crap off.
butterflies.
Let's take that off.
What?
No, we don't need that. All right, we're good. How are we doing?
Super good. How are you?
Excellent. Yeah, good. Living the dream. Living the dream.
Yeah. Are you in London?
Yeah, I'm in UK. I live in Kent, which is they call it the Garden of England because it's full of countryside and nature.
Aw. I want to see
So
you.
it's beautiful. Yeah, I've been living here. I was a bit closer to London before, so I'm actually born in the southeast of London. So I moved here about 10 years ago. I bought my house in the countryside. And it's lovely because I can walk out and I'm literally just surrounded by nature. And I've got 3 horses, so I go and see my horses. I keep them in a lovely area. They've got like caves. We keep them in the caves. So I have a walk every morning. I go and have a little walk in nature every day. It's like my start of my day is a walk in nature before I do anything else. Connect with my soul. Connecting with your true nature. The clue's in the word, nature.
Yes.
You want to find your true nature, connect with nature daily.
Absolutely. Have you ever been to the United States?
Yes, I have actually, because my main business is financial trading, and I've been doing that since 2005. And so I used to visit the Chicago Board of Trade, and I used to do events there and do presentations. So I used to get invited by a lot of brokers in Chicago because that's like a hub for financial trading. So I used to get invited. Yeah, back in the day, I'm talking about like 2010, 2011, 2000. That time, I was always back and forth from the States, but I don't really do so much in person now. It's all online. So yeah. So the mind of matter is actually now it's become like my focus. I've always been doing mentoring coaching for traders. It's been going on for a long time because I'm a certified therapist in NLP and timeline therapy. So one of my things is helping traders with their mindset because financial trading is a very, very emotional business. Like you can lose a lot of money, make a lot of money, but when it's an emotional roller coaster. So I became certified myself as a therapist and to really learn techniques to help myself. But I realized that a lot of people could do with the techniques. So I sort of built this thing around bringing NLP and timeline therapy and this therapeutic techniques for financial traders to help them deal with their emotions.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay, so is that how you started then with all of what you teach now? Like, what was the process for you?
It's been a part of the journey, as the divine takes you on a journey. It sort of puts things along your path to guide you where you're supposed to go. So funny enough, I was I've been a teacher. I was an instructor in Kung Fu because martial arts is also my thing. I've been a martial artist since I was 7 years old. And I started doing Wing Chun Kung Fu when I was 14 years old, and I was an instructor by the time I was 19. So God brought me on this path to become an instructor, a teacher, and then I was doing trading, became pretty successful as a trader, and then I've got this thing about teaching. So when I master something and I learn something, I love to put my own twist on it and then teach it my way. So, and that's what I've done with spirituality in a sense. Like the mind of matter was born from that. So I've mastered a lot of things like alchemy and manifestation is something we're going to be talking about today. And, all of this has led me on this path, spiritual development as well. So, when you're working on yourself, you're developing not only mentally, you're also developing spiritually as well. So,
right. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I feel like we probably should get into what alchemy is before manifestation, because you got to know how to transform energy before you can start bringing in what it is that you truly desire, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I bring a lot of like martial arts concepts into this, the Taoism. So Taoism, you may have heard of Hermetic principles. Mm-hmm. Hermetic principles, right? The 7 main principles. There's mentalism, number 1, which is all is mind. Everything is made from mental constructs in a sense. So all is mind. So we're in the mind of God, but we're also co-creators. So we also have our own minds, which we can co-create with. So, God creates nature. We are nature. So we are a part of nature. But then number 2 is correspondence, as above, so below. Number 3 is vibration, the law of vibration. Number 4, the polarities. 5, rhythm. 6, cause and effect. And 7 is the law, the gender. So the divine feminine, divine masculine concepts. So I've been very much into Taoism. And that's all about yin and yang, divine feminine, divine masculine energies. So when I look at alchemy, I like to, my thing is make things simple, keep it simple, stupid, right? So, you can overly complicate a lot of things. And when it comes to alchemy, there's the magic side of it as well. There's a sorcery side of it, but if you break it down to its core essence, everything is about allowing, receiving, and then expressing. In its most basic terms, that's it. It's allowing, receiving. So even higher consciousness, you allow you receive higher consciousness, but then you have to express it. You've got to do something with it. It's with emotions. If you're just in allowing, receiving. So allowing, receiving is the yin mode, the divine feminine. Like the divine feminine is like, it's the womb, right? The female sexual organ is a womb. So it's passive. It allows, it receives. The male sexual organ is expressive. So it expresses. But because everything's a cycle, of course, the male expresses the sperm into the womb, and then the woman gives birth to life. So it's a cycle. So this is the divine feminine, divine masculine nature of the universe, which again goes into the Hermetic principles with number 7, which is gender. So, but then we got the polarities as well, which ties in very much with yin and yang as well, but the dual nature of the universe. So the good and the bad, the dark and the light. So, to transmute darkness into light, you've got to go through the darkness, you can't light up a room if it's not dark in the first place. Right. So it's very simple stuff, right? Let's try to straighten this up a little bit. So yeah, for me, alchemy is like even with energies, we allow, we receive certain energies. So, there's some of those energies which we receive are, which we would call positive energies, like being at peace, finding a blissful state, a relaxed state. That's because we allow relaxation, we allow bliss, we allow peace. But also if you spend too much time there, you spend too much time relaxing, for example, and you don't do anything, you'll also be allowing depression and sadness and misery. So, this is why the yin yang nature, I have this, the Taoist way is to do nothing, but then do everything. So you do nothing, you completely let go, you detach. But when you're done with that, you must come out of that the do nothing state and then do everything you possibly can. So, you know, I relax a lot. I do nothing a lot. When I mean do nothing, it's not like sitting there watching TV, because that's still doing something. You're still keeping your mind active. So I may meditate an hour, 2 hours, deep meditation, or I spend at least an hour to 2 hours in nature every day. So that is me allowing, receiving. I'm in a divine feminine mode. I'm just letting go. I'm not really doing anything. Yes, I might be walking in nature, but there's nothing really stressful about it. It's very blissful. It's very peaceful. You know, and I always say to people, if you find it hard to find peace and serenity in your mind, it's always out there in nature, and you just got to look at it.
Right. Yeah, you can learn so much just by being next to a tree. Like my shaman and like soul family member, he would always tell me, like, with us and being attached to things, it's like when you go and sit next to a tree, you don't tell the tree, I'm going to sit on your branches and I'm the only one that's going to sit on your branches, you know, and start attaching to the tree. You're just enjoying the fact that it's a tree, and that there is a reciprocated energy between you and the tree, you know, and just appreciating what it is. And then we can kind of look at that with like relationships and things like that. But yeah, nature, it just is.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, nature, and we are nature, right? We are nature. We don't make a business plan to be born. We don't make a business plan when we die. We're just here, you know, and it's all a very beautiful, natural process. And this is my thing. I try to teach my clients and students. I say, look, let go. Like this whole idea of trying to figure everything out. You know, people have got caught up with the intellectual mind, too much knowledge. Less is more sometimes. Just, you know, there's an unconscious intelligence, you know, which is running your body naturally, giving you a heartbeat right now. It's pumping blood through your veins, and there's no effort involved. You go to sleep at night. You don't plan how to stay alive during the night and wake up the next day. It just happens, right? So there's an intelligence. There's a massive difference between intellect and intelligence, and if we all just let go and try to connect with the intelligence, but once we connect with it, like inspiration and intuition comes from allowing and receiving intuition. And intuition itself, it's the word is intuition. You're being taught from within. And inspiration, when you're in spirit, you're inspired.
Right. Yeah, I know for sure, like when I'm really irritated that I don't have any inspiration, I know that it's my time to just rest. I mean, it took me the whole month of December just to gain some clarity, and I couldn't go out, I couldn't see people, I didn't talk to anybody, you know, I just did the bare minimum and the basics, because that's what intuitively I was being told to do and guided to do, you know. And if I tried to push it, then I would just lose all my energy, or I'd get sick, or something would happen just to keep me from feeling like I need to be in constant action in order to gain or receive something. You know, you just have to totally surrender to whatever phase you're in and whatever cycle you're in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've got to definitely surrender to, we've got to surrender to God, the divine, whatever you want to call it. But there is a divine source of consciousness, enlightenment, life force energy as well. I do a lot of work with breath work, qigong, and again, that's down to, you know, you can't just breathe out. You have to breathe in before you breathe out. So, you know, we can't just express. So when it comes to manifestation as well, we got to allow the ideas, we got to allow the inspiration, we got to allow the intuition, but you just can't allow, you've got to express that. You know, you got to take massive action. So, you know, you can't just imagine and have ideas. You know, people talk about visualization with the law of attraction. Yes, you can visualize, you know, on the screen of the mind, but for dreams to become a reality, I wrote a book called Live the Dream. And the whole idea behind that is we're in a dream. This is a temporary dream consciousness. Like you're asleep at nighttime. When you have a dream at nighttime, you're in a completely different reality. and you start to believe you're the person in the dream. You're playing this character in the dream, and you're caught up with that dream and the reality that's taking place right there. But actually, in reality, you're the person that's asleep on the bed. You start to believe you're the person in the dream. And this is what's happening here. Our soul's having the dream. We've got caught up with the identity. This is me. This is the I. I'm the person in, this is the person in the dream. This is the avatar the consciousness is controlling, but we get caught up with the brain consciousness, and the brain is a cauliflower shaped organ in the head. It's a consciousness receiver, and it actually filters consciousness. Pure consciousness is beyond the brain, because that's why you can have out of body experiences. You can have a consciousness and you're consciously aware. Like, I've had experiences of seeing my soul and my celestial body, my higher self. So if I'm not in the body, I've left this dimension completely. So if I'm not here and I'm experiencing these other dimensions, I'm outside of my body. That means consciousness is not in the body. It's outside of the body. And this actually goes to, as the number 2, the Hermetic principle, as above, so below. The mind, the consciousness, is projecting this reality. This is the dream consciousness we're in. We get caught up with it. We start thinking we're the character in the dream. Right. So, and this actually, and the way I like to live life is really like, one day's over, that dream's over. The next day is a completely new dream. So, people get caught up with the past. But that's because we keep connecting yesterday's dream to today's dream. And we keep thinking about tomorrow's dream in today's dream. Carpe diem, you've probably heard the phrase, carpe diem. Mm-hmm. Carpe diem means to seize the day. But, in my book, I actually write, carpe, this is my book here, Live the Dream. And carpe diem, page 16. I'll just read this out because it's quite profound. Carpe diem is part of Horace's injunction. Carpe diem quam minimum credula prostero, which appears in Odes, published in 23 BCE. It can be translated literally as pluck the day, trusting as little as possible in the next one. But people are always like thinking about tomorrow, next week, next year. But the way I like to look at it is, there might not be a tomorrow. Today is the day. You got to get shit done. Today is the day. Seize the day as if there is no tomorrow. And that way, we're always making the most of, people talk about manifestation as well. We want to get into that manifestation, but people are always projecting way out into the future, way out into next week, next year, next month. But yeah. Manifestation should be taking place right now, today, like seizing the day. And as long as you keep doing that, it's going to take you in the direction you want to go anyway.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. And also, I would teach people too that when you're manifesting something, we tend to manifest the exact form that it's going to take. Mm-hmm. Right. And we create an expectation of what that form is instead of focusing on the frequency. And if mm-hmm. you focus just on the frequency, that puts you in the now moment and you're in that frequency. What does it feel like to be in the most joyous love or around the most connected, loving people or whatever it is that you want, to be inspired in career or whatever. You just got to focus on the frequency and then mm-hmm. focus on that and feel that. One, the brain doesn't know the difference other than what you tell it and what it believes. So if you're believing and feeling in this frequency, it's already happening right now. The problem is being consistently in that frequency, because we start thinking about the future, we start thinking about the past, and mm-hmm. we get stressed, and now your frequency's down, right? So how are you going to manifest that frequency? You just have to, and that's why meditation is so big, because you can get back to that place consistently and get the brain trained to kind of settle and not get so focused on the future or the past and lower your frequency, because now you're manifesting more stress usually,
Hmm.
or non-clarity, like chaotic thoughts. How am I supposed to do this? It's like when you
Hmm.
focus on the frequency and you just trust, it just comes,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it really
absolutely.
does.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, we was talking about alchemy. Alchemy, like, so I spoke about the negative states, like letting go, the yin state, like the divine feminine nature is to allow to receive. That energy, you can allow sadness, you can also allow peace and bliss, but that's like, but when you recognize when you're allowing and it started to get to the point where it's leading to sadness or depression, that's when you got to switch it. You got to transmute those energies. So there's positives of being in the relaxed state, the yin state, but there's also negatives. But there's also positives and negatives of being in the yang state, because you don't want to be too expressive all the time. So the yang state is the expressive force. So that's when we're creativity, imagination, productivity, being in the energized state. But also that's the yang state is also anger and frustration. Like if you're trying to do too much and then all of a sudden frustration kicks in, that's when your yang state goes into a negative state. That's when you got to switch to yin. So because you got to be productive, you got to be energized. But once it goes to anger or frustration, you got to go back to divine feminine. You got to go back to, okay, let's relax now. Okay, but then you don't want to spend too much time. So timing is essential. Like I've got a whole course on this called Energy Mastery. Timing is essential, but only you will know when it's time to make the switch. So this is all about transmuting energy. So you can transmute anger and frustration into positive energy as well. Like if you harness it, like anger and frustration is a very, it's powerful, strong energy. But if you just let it go, you've just wasted the energy. But you can turn pain and anger into motivation, for example. Like you can use pain and anger to motivate you. You can use
Right.
frustration to motivate you. So it's a very powerful energy if you use it in the right way, because it's just energy. Everything is energy, right? But we label it. But if we express it in the wrong way, then it becomes anger. Then it becomes, you know, whatever it is. Then it becomes what it is. But it's just energy until you've expressed it. But if you express it in the what you harness it and you use it in the right way. But pain is motivation. Pain can be motivation. And actually, a lot of the time when we do get motivated, it's through pain and suffering. Like we just have
Yeah.
enough, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, like when people hit their rock bottom, it's like
Yeah.
when you hit a rock bottom, what happens? Most of the time, you surrender it all because you realize that the ego can't guide you anymore. And that's why
Hmm.
so many people go through those profound awakenings, because they have to get to the point where they realize that it's not the ego that's going to help save you. It's not going to do anything for you. And it's like you start surrendering, you start asking. That's the thing, like, why do we ask? Say if you're unconscious and you get to a point that you are at your rock bottom, why do we ask if we don't know intuitively that there's something beyond us that can carry us, right?
Hmm.
And that's within you. And I was just
Yeah.
having this conversation last night, but it's true that pain helps. It kind of has to get to a point though sometimes to where it's so bad.
Yeah, yeah, I've been through it myself, like pain, suffering. I had to, you know, I've been on this journey where personally I was living the high life, but then everything just fucking just all started to fall apart. You know, I was my one of my other businesses was struggling. My I was having problems at home with my wife, and my brother died at the same time. He died from drinking too much alcohol. There was everything was just going wrong, but then I harnessed all that pain and I used it to to be reborn. In a sense, it's the metaphor of like crucifixion and then the resurrection,
Right.
right? You get crucified. It's almost like you get crucified. You have so much pain and suffering that there's nothing left apart from to resurrect and be reborn. The phoenix rises from the ashes, right?
Yep.
So you sometimes have to burn down to the ground and there's nothing left but the ashes. But then the phoenix rises from the ashes.
Right.
You know, so and that typically happens. It's the hero's journey. Like the soul
Yep.
has this thing where this happens for a lot of people. It's the ego death. The ego death, the soul will take you through a journey. Life will take you through a journey where your old self, your identity, who you thought you were and who you thought you were becoming has to die before you can be reborn. And you're more incongruent now then. When you're reborn, you'll be more incongruent with your higher self. There's a lower self and there's a higher self. But sometimes you've got to spend enough time identified with the lower self.
Right.
To learn the lessons, and then everything's got to go wrong. You know, everything, you got to go through that pain and suffering. And then we're reborn, but we take all those lessons with us.
Right. And, you know, it's crazy how many times you have to go through this in one lifetime. It's like, you can go through that, you can rise from the ashes, be great. And then it's like, spirit's like, all right, it's time to go to the next level, you know? And you start going through all these things and shadow work and stuff that you didn't even know existed, because it's so, so deep, you know, and it's just constant. You're constantly evolving. It doesn't end.
Well, the struggles make us stronger. Like, if we don't have the struggles, we're not going to grow. Like, there has to be some kind of tests, trials, and tribulations. There have to be there. Because if everything was just okay all the time, you would have no need to do anything, you know? So this is the nature of life. This is the nature of the journey. Like, you've got to have the problems to overcome. The great thing is we overcome. We all have 100% strike rate with overcoming our problems. People tend to forget that. If you think about any problem you've ever had, you've always overcome it. It might not be the way you wanted to, but you will overcome it. Problems don't stay forever. The illusion is that the problem or the fear and the doubt makes you believe the problem will stay forever. But no problem, doesn't matter how big it is, will stay forever. You will always overcome it somehow.
Right. You've gotten through 100% of your worst days.
Yeah, we all do. And we get caught up with the problems when they're there because they are frustrating. And that's when we get frustrated, we get angry, or that's when it can be horrible to deal with right there, right then. But this is where we have to remind us, this is when we have to surrender. We have to surrender. We have to let go. Because that's where, and this is how the universe and life will teach you. It tells you, it shows you when you've got to go within and when you've got to come out again. You know, if it's too much for you, you've got to go within. You've got to let go. You've got to detach. You know, but then if you spend too much time detached, you'll also find there will be misery there, because then people get sad, they get depressed because they're not doing enough. Then your soul will, so the depression state really is your soul saying to you, fucking do something. Like, do something. Like, you've got to take action now. That's all it is, really. Depression, a lot of, this is why we've had, like, with the pandemic and everything, so many people spending a lot of time at home. A lot of people started to experience these emotions that they've never had before. And a lot of it is really down to some simple things like not moving enough. Like, movement is medicine, you know? I help so many people. And I always keep it simple, stupid. Like, this is the way. Like, just keep it simple. If you make it complex, you're not going to do it. Firstly, you're going to take action. You're never going to do what you're supposed to do. Like, if you're suffering depression, just get up early and go for a walk first thing in the morning. You don't need to take any antidepressants. You don't need to take anything. Like, you literally, because antidepressants, they will just suppress you. They would just suppress the emotion. It's still there. It's just masking the emotion, right? It's like you take a painkiller. The pain is still there, but it masks it and it makes you feel like it's not there. But the truth is, it's still there. So, you know, depression, movement is medicine itself. Breath is so powerful. I teach breath work. I handle my states with breath work. Like, even breath work, we're talking about rhythm and vibration. Like, you can change the rhythm, because breath you're going to breathe unconsciously anyway. But if you control breath in, well, spirit in Latin is spiritus. If you translate spiritus in a translator to English, it actually translates to breathe or to blow. So spirit is breath. You know, spirit is breath, and it's and this empty space around us, everyone's just walking through it, looking straight through it. And this empty space around us is full of infinite potential. If you create anything in this world, what are you going to do? It's going to fill up this empty space. This empty space connects everyone and everything. We're connected right now. If there was no empty space there would be no separation. Empty space creates the illusion of separation, but empty space also connects everyone and everything. And this is why when we breathe, it comes from the empty space. The empty space around us is spirit. You know, when I do Qigong, Qi, it's here. It's all around us here. Our light body is here in the empty space. Most people can't see it. Our light body, our biofield, our aura, our etheric energy field is here. Most people can't see it. But it's right here, right in front of us. You know, when we get negative emotions, people talk about ghouls and demons. Well, they attach to your aura. And, you know, if you've got an open third eye and you do the right techniques, I teach people how to see this. You can actually see the ghouls and the entities that attach to your aura. But they only attach to your aura if you have fear. Because fear is their food.
Right.
You know, fear is the food of the ghouls, if you like. But that, if you're, you know, you either choose fear or love. That's it. Love transmutes everything, really. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. You know, if everyone connects with love and they keep sharing love, like if you're full of love and joy every day, because love and joy just comes from the heart. You don't need to gain anything. Like you can have love and joy today. Like you don't have to wait till tomorrow, next week, or for anything to become a success, or your business has to be good. You can have it right now. It comes from your heart. Literally put some music on, have a dance. You will feel love and joy straight away. You know, this is why we do what we do. It's out of love, right?
Yeah.
It's out of love, and it makes us feel good. Right. Because we share knowledge and wisdom, and knowledge and wisdom is a form of love. It is, especially if it comes from true experiences and it's authentic.
Yeah, and that's all that it is. Like with anybody that's speaking on Instagram or YouTube, the reason why I even started doing this was because I was watching people that helped me so significantly for so many years. And I had finally gotten to that point where I'm like, I can do this now. I know what it's like to have the innate love of God within me, and I don't even have to think to know truth at this point. So what I can do is share my experiences of pain and how I got through that. And if a lot of us do this, because the second people feel heard, they heal. And that's why so many of us listen to so many different people, because we resonate with different people. And when we feel heard, if their story makes me feel like, oh, wow, I'm not the only one. Now I'm healing. Now I'm healed because I found somebody that is reflecting back to me that they went through it too. And this is how they got through it, you know, and it just being heard. And, and that's what I've realized a lot of this experience is, you know, unless you're completely ego driven and it fulfills you in a weird way. But I have yet, especially on the Instagram community, seen that. And I don't know if it's just because of what I've chosen to bring in and call in, but the people I have met on Instagram, including the people that listen to these lives, are freaking amazing. Very rarely do we get negative people. And if you do, it's very rare, you know?
You're
it's
right.
Whole
Absolutely
conscious
right.
community.
You know, initially you do have doubts. I mean, I was driven to do this inner guidance, inspiration, and I started my page. It was really more of a form of self-expression. Before I knew it, you know, I had like thousands of followers. Like I've only been on Instagram a year and a half. I've hit like nearly 33,000 followers. On Facebook, I've got 101,000 followers. So people are listening. and they learn. And that motivates you to do it even more because, you like myself probably get loads of messages from people. Not everyone, and we're not even hearing from everyone, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that watch our videos that don't even respond to messages, probably don't even like the post, but they do like them. Because sometimes I'll get the odd message here, a DM or something, and I've never seen them like a post or comment on a post, but they've been watching. So we don't even know half of the people that are watching or we're impacting. But, it's, I started to share the stories about me personally when I had issues with, because I stopped drinking alcohol. I had a problem a few years ago when I was overcoming addiction, cocaine addiction, and I was talking a lot about my brother, his issues, and depression, and overcoming depression, and the techniques that I use. But sharing the stories has helped so many people across the globe. Just sharing the stories, because it's being authentic. They're true stories. It's not like we're not just talking about, okay, well, this book says this and this book says that. We're actually sharing our experiences, and that's what people really connect with, because it's truth.
Yeah. Yep. That's and that is one thing that has helped a lot. When you go public with your experiences, you have to break through fear. You have to break through fear of judgment and everything, and that is because of love. You do it because you love, and you want others to know that it's okay. It's okay to have an addiction. In fact, most of us do. Depending on what it is, doesn't matter. Everybody has something, right? We're not out here just love and light. You can do that. That's great. But my channel, I'm not about all love and light. In fact, when people die and I'm going through traumatic shit, I usually post a video about it with me sobbing, so you can see that this is real shit. Like, we're really going through this. Like, this is really reality right now, and it feels very real.
Yeah. That's like me.
Through it.
Yeah, we have to, and that's for people where we feel like we're expressing in a sense it's therapy for ourselves, because we can let it out, right? It's because a lot of the time people go for therapy and they go to it's a lot of the time it's just because you need to get it out yourself. You need someone to listen. So and people are helping us by listening. They're helping us, we're helping them, but it's a win-win situation, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get to like manifestation. Like we've been talking about it throughout, but what if somebody was to come to you and ask you, how do I start manifesting? What would you tell them?
I would say, look, everything, I go back to this concept, like this is a dream consciousness. So if this is a dream, in a dream, it's a very, very lucid dream. Everyone's having a shared dream, right? Just look at it that way. So we're all in a shared dream. You're just waking up into the same dream every day. But in this dream, you've got so much control. Imagine you had a dream at nighttime where you had this level of control. It's so lucid and vivid, this dream, we can even hear our own thoughts, right? So imagine having that level of control in a dream at nighttime. You wouldn't be wasting any time doing anything. You're just, it's a game, right? It's a game. You're controlling this avatar. It's a game. And now just take control. Like, dreams literally become a reality. Like, if you can imagine it, every idea you can conceive can be brought to life, right? Every idea that you can conceive. Like, for me to write my book, it's an idea. I brought this into this world, right? This chain, somebody had the idea. They designed it. They brought it in. This T-shirt, same thing. This chair. Now, God creates us. God imagines us, like this person's going to look like that. That's what they're going to be like. God imagines the trees, the plants, the animals, right? God creates nature, but we are co-creators. So we're creating everything else. If you look around the room right now, if you literally, everyone here, look around, how many things do you see? Every object that you can see has been made by someone. It's been made by someone. Every right, it's not just appeared out of nowhere. Someone has had the idea and made it come to life. They made it come to life, right? So you make things come to life literally by dreaming it, using your imagination, having the idea. But the key thing is that we can't just have the ideas, right? We've got to do something with it. So this is massive action. So every day you've got to realign with that idea. Let's not overly complicate it. Just realign with that idea. Not have because you can have an idea avalanche, right? Because if you're overly creative or over imaginative like me, I remember when I was younger, I used to have loads of ideas, and I think, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. And half of them, well, more than half of them, probably 99% of them don't come true because you can't do everything. You can't focus on every single one, right? So what we have to do is figure out which one do we really want to bring to life. And one thing at a time, focus on one thing at a time. There's a book out there, I think it's called One Thing. I've got it on my Kindle. I read a little bit of it, but I get a lot of books, but I don't read most of them. I get the main idea, and as long as I've got the main idea, sometimes you only got to read the first 2 chapters of the book, and you think, oh, I've got it. I don't need to read it, you know? My book is actually really short. It's only about 70 pages. But it's more concepts and ideas, because I personally don't like really long books. That's me. I like books. I've got hundreds of books, but I probably never read any of them right from the beginning to the end. But if I can grasp the main idea that's in that book, that's it. I'm done with it. You know, so, again, it's the same thing with books. You can have loads and loads of books, but if you're not doing anything with them, they're pretty useless. Like, knowledge itself is pretty useless if you don't use it. You know, knowledge only turns into wisdom, true wisdom, if you put it into action. And it's like our dreams. We can have, the secret, the law of attraction, is all about visualization. Visualization is important, but you got to take action. You have to take action. You've got to do something. Like for us to bring things into reality, we've got to use our hands. We've got to speak it into reality. We got to use our hands to make it real, right? So we've got to take action. Not just action. We've got to take massive action. So my key thing with manifestation is keep it simple again. Like, which one of those ideas, because you put everyone here has probably got loads of ideas and things that you want to bring into this reality and things you want to manifest, but focus on the things that you need to do and things that you can practically do. Like a lot of people will say, okay, I want money. Well, what are you going to, you don't want to just focus on the objective or the end goal, because people will just visualize about what they want. But that in itself, right, as we know with the law of attraction, you can't, if you're saying you don't have it, you're sending that vibration out. So if you want, just saying I want this, is sending out to the universe, well, I don't have it. So stop focusing too much into the future. Like, it's good to have long-term goals, 10 years from now, 5 years from now. Like, have a vision. So with my businesses, every business plan starts with a vision. Vision first, then mission statement. Why do I want to achieve that? You need to know why. Like, your passion is going to come from the why. The why is what motivates you. Why do I want it? It's all well and good knowing what you want, but why do you want it? And then you need to break down how do I get it? How do I make it come true? And then it has to be actionable steps, right? So a business plan is vision, mission statement, the why. So what do you want? Why do you want it? And then how do I get there? And then that's the goals and objectives. And the goals and objectives need to be broken down into actionable steps. So goals themselves are different to objectives. Like, goals themselves are a bit more abstract, whereas objectives themselves are actual tasks, things that you can actually do. So goals themselves can be abstract, like, okay, I want to make £1 million this year or whatever, right? That it's quite abstract, but it's the objective would be like broken down, like weekly objectives, monthly objectives, things like that. So we need to break things down into actionable tasks, most importantly. So vision, mission statement, what you want, why you want it, and then what you need to do to get there. So it needs to be practical, in my opinion. So, you know, we energize everything through our thoughts, but our thoughts need to come alive. Our ideas need to come to life. And that's only done by doing stuff. We don't, you know, Carly, right? We have to make shit happen. We got to get shit done. This is why I always say, like, you can't just be relaxed. It's all well and good. You want to be relaxed. You want to do relaxing meditation. Like, I have different forms of meditation and breath work that I teach people. So I have relaxing breath work, meditation techniques to go into yin, but then I have energizing breath work as well. So breath work, which actually energize you. And really all you're doing is something really simple. You're just changing the rhythm of the breath. If I do it really slowly, if I just focus on exhale, the slower I do it, the more relaxed I get. Rhythm and vibration. Now, if I change the intensity, so it's still breath, but I can control the rhythm of breath. I can control the intensity of breath. So if I change the breath, the rhythm of it, let's say I change it now to inhale, focusing on inhale, because I'm still inhaling when I'm focusing on exhaling, because you can't just exhale. I'm still gonna, but the inhale is an afterthought. So now if I do focus on the inhale and I do it forcefully and I do it through the mouth, this energizes me. So it's still breath work, but the change in rhythm and intensity changes my state of mind. So now that's energized me. It's lifted me up. It's like doing it's like exercise, right? Mm-hmm. So we literally can control our state of mind and our level of energy by doing something simple like controlling the rhythm of breath. But many people get into this idea of meditation needs to be just relaxing, or breath work needs to be relaxing. Actually, it can be energizing too. So we need to go from this yin state into this yang state, because to get stuff done, to get shit done, we've got to be energized. You know, you can't. It's all well and good to relax, but we don't get shit done in a relaxed state. We get shit done when we're energized.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to have techniques, like even a workout at the gym that energizes you, right? Or you go for a run. You know, a walk is a little bit in the middle, because like a walk will still get you up, you're moving, but it doesn't. So a walk for me can be enough to get me moving. So it's enough to get my mind going, but it doesn't necessarily have to energize me. So I can still be there, but I can be relaxed. It's more of a blissful, peaceful state. It's like in between, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I was gonna also touch on what you were saying with simplicity. That's been the main theme for the last few months with everybody I know, everybody, including myself. And the reason why you want to get as simple as possible is only because of clarity. You got to get really, really clear, you know, and when you have way too much going on, there's not clarity. And you can't focus in on something and bring it into fruition. And that's why simplicity is so, so important. Like for me, I felt like in December, I'm like, I need to do something different. And it was stressing me out that I felt like I needed to do something different. And so I started like this TV series, and it was a lot of work, and it was fun, but it's just not for me right now, right? It's just a lot. And then I'm like, I started doing longer videos, and I started doing all this shit, right? And then it's like New Year's finally came, and I was so exhausted all December, stressed out because I didn't have clarity. You know, I didn't know what to do. And I realized this week, I was like, oh my gosh, don't fix it if it's not broken, Carly. I didn't even get to experience what I originally had started with, which was bringing you guys on to a show, Like my entire like I love doing blips and doing videos, right? I can do that all day long. But bringing people in and letting them express their own individual and like unique life experiences and bringing them all together, right? That's what I wanted to be doing. So I went back to basics and got clarity. And now it's like I got to talk to you, I got to talk to Pernell, Bobby, me and Neeraj do stuff all the time. And it's just, it brings a flow because there's such clarity on it. And now it's starting to just, it's just starting to flow. And without the clarity, it really can't flow.
No, like, clarity is key. I've actually got this thing which I teach clients is the 4 C's. The 4 C's for confidence. And number 1 is clarity. Like people want confidence, but confidence, you don't just get it. Like me and you, we do this. There's not a time really, you know, now it's not so much, but every time I've done public speaking, there's not a time where I don't feel a little bit nervous. Like, you know, it's natural. But confidence, people sometimes say to me, how come you're so confident? It's not really that I'm confident. I have courage. That's the difference. Confidence comes from having courage. Like being vulnerable. A lot of people don't get this. Like you have to be willing to be vulnerable. You have to, like, vulnerability is key. Yeah. Vulnerability and humility. Like you've got to be willing to be vulnerable. You've got to put yourself in a position where you feel vulnerable, because it's through that vulnerability, but the courage is what gets you there, the courage. So clarity first, then courage, then commitment. Clarity, courage, commitment. That's what gives you confidence.
I really like that. I either need to write that down right now or just have you message me that. So I have it. Because it's so true. Having courage is so, it's a big step when you decide to have the courage to even say something to somebody that you know that you need to say, but you're scared to say it, and not because it'll hurt them, but because you're scared of how they might judge you or might feel about it. You know, like just having courage to speak your truth. It's like a quantum leap into different realities.
I teach my kids this. I teach my kids, like my son, he's very intelligent, very smart. He's only 11 years old, but even as teacher, he lacks confidence. And I've been I've been coaching him because they're never too young that you can start. You know, my daughter's 8 years old. My son's 11 years old. I teach them meditation. I teach them breath work. They do meditation to Tibetan bowls. They learnt my breath work already. So I show them how to use the breath work to relax. My daughter sometimes struggles to sleep because she gets sleep anxiety. So I taught her how to relax with simple rhythmic breathing. My son gets to sleep, no problem, but he struggles with confidence. So I explained to him that you're not going to feel confident unless you have courage. So I get him to force himself to basically do things that he's scared to do. I said, if you're scared to do it, just do it anyway. You're going to get confident by doing it. That's the way it works. If you're scared, then do it. Do it anyway. And then you're going to build the courage from doing what you're afraid to do. That's how courage is built. You do what you're afraid to do. And then the confidence comes as a result of that.
Yeah. And it happens like immediately. Yeah, to break through fear. You definitely are confident. Like, wow.
The doubt and fear is what holds us back, you know? And that's what keeps us in alignment with our lower self, the doubt and the fear. To step into your higher self, we've got to align with our higher self. And that means showing up in congruence with what your higher self does, not what your lower self does. Because your lower self will be full of doubt, full of fear, and that's when you stay where you are. Right. And this goes into manifestation as well, and alchemy still. Like, you know, you're transmuting states. you're transmuting your energies by when you feel the doubt and you feel the fear, you literally, you're the one that snaps out of it. It's a state of mind. You step out of it by consciously making the choice decision. Okay, I've got the doubt, the fear. The only way to get out of that doubt and fear is to do what you're afraid to do. Face your fears, right? People say it all the time, face your fears. So if you're scared to do something, do what you're afraid. The biggest thing you probably need to do is the thing that you're most afraid of. The thing that scares you the most is probably the main thing you need to focus on doing.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's usually the thing that makes the biggest difference.
Mm-hmm. And you'll be surprised at your outcomes. You'll be like, why was I even scared? It actually changed everything, you know?
Yeah.
Like took
And
your
the more you do
relationship
it
to the next level, or your career.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more you do it, it becomes your natural state.
Yeah. I love it. Well, we have about 2 minutes and then our video is going to shut off. Do you have anything else that you want to say?
No, I just want to thank you so much for letting me share my space with you. And yeah, just wish everyone a wonderful day. Just take some notes. You know, there's quite a lot we've covered in a short period of time, really. So, but keep it simple. Like Carly said as well, I've been saying, keep it simple because you know what? Less is more, really. Like, do more with less.
Yes. You can put way more energy into one little thing and watch it explode.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, but you know, I've got this platform, Instagram here, but you know, my other business, I've got 2 other businesses I run, but they're at a place where they don't need as much attention. So now I'm focusing on this more, but they're running, they're ticking, they take up my time and energy too. But when you're growing something, when you're starting something, it needs more energy.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. Yes. All right. Well, I'm going to have you message me your 4 C's.
Yeah,
so
I will do that.
Have it.
Yeah. Clarity, commitment, courage leads to confidence. That's it.
Okay. Yes, I love it. Thank you so much for being on here. You were very insightful. This will be on my YouTube channel and on my profile, and I'll make you a collaborator so it's on your profile as well. So,
Brilliant.
all
Much
right.
love.
Thanks everybody for being
Keep shining.
on. Yes, I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.